Hi guys, today we're going to be installing a quantum vector FE water block onto the 3090 Ti Founders Edition. So we'll start by unboxing the graphics card. So I'm going to be using this card in my next build. Some of the parts are slowly coming in to really get going on it. But here's the Founders Edition. It's pretty close to the same size as the standard 3090. We'll go ahead and start disassembling this now. So these things have a little bolt covers. You have to use a tape to get them off. So let's see if this electric tape will work. Yep, works perfect. All right, and then there are some more. So there are 4 of those covers on these bolts. Let's get this last one. Whoops. All right, then let's see what size we have here. So they're Torx bits. It is this guy here. All right, so we're going to loosen these up. And then make sure when you're doing this that you save all your screws and stuff, because they'll be hard to procure afterwards if you need them, if you want to put it back to factory. All right. Trying to remember this right. The last one I did was on my 3090. We have those, and then I believe there are going to be some inside here where the fan is as well that we have to remove. You just have to position the fans a certain way to get to each screw. And there are, I'll give you a count on them in a second. So those are Phillips, those aren't Torx, and you are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 total. And then there's your whole fan bracket and everything. Alright. See, we'll go ahead and take off the IO shield. Now this isn't really a how-to disassemble on here. It's just, this is pretty much how I do it. You might have a better way. I just kind of going off of memory right now with the from the 3090 I did probably 2 years ago. So take also want to do is maybe remove this NVLink cover. Yep. Actually helped a lot. So these, whoops. I was looking at this. It's like another piece that holds this on, and I can't remember. I think this whole X part comes off. It just snaps in. There's a fastener in here. So the dies here. Maybe it's this guy here. No. Yeah, it is. There we go. So these just pop in here, it looks like. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips. That should hold the remainder of the back cover on. I'm actually curious to see how the paste looks in these things. I know it was really bad when I did my 3090. I'm not sure if Nvidia's changed their paste that they use or the thermal grease. All Alright, so back cover's off. Now let's get to this guy. So you have a Phillips, one Phillips left on the shield. Or no, Torx. There we go. Get this guy off. Let's see stuff here. And then so we have 4 Torx here. It's holding right at the die, so I like to do these evenly so they don't, so it doesn't spring up. It's under tension. As I said that, a screw just went. Let's take these, save everything here in the box. Alright. Then you have some ribbon cables here that need to be taken out. You just flip the little, there's a little black tab, and you just flip it up and the ribbon cable should come right out. Be careful not to damage them. And then this one's just in a connector. That one you just have to pull the little metal clasp back and then it should lift up. Let's see. I'll pull out. Let's see. It's giving me a little bit of trouble just coming out, so let's see if we get like a little flat head in there. There we go. Just had to pry up on it. Very tiny connector. So now we have that. We should be all disconnected here from the stock cooler. So now it should just be a matter of pulling it off. It should just be pretty much the thermal grease and the heat sinks holding it on. Oh, there's one more ribbon cable. There we go. Pop that off. Should be it. Oh, there we go. Got it. I forgot there's also this connector. It's for the RGB because it does light up. It also can kind of hold everything together in there. But there we go. Now we just need to clean up the stock thermal grease. And it is like rock hard. Very dried out. Not very good. So even if you have one like a 3090 Ti Founders Edition, I'd suggest you do like a repaste, just because I mean that's what they're sending with their cards. You can definitely, it would definitely benefit from like some good paste than what they're sending it out with. So let's move everything to the side. We'll get ready to unbox this water block and go through the instructions. Alright guys, the old cooler, so what you want to do is get all your thermal pads and put them all back in the same orientation they came in, because you won't need those for the new water block. That way you keep them all together. And then what you're going to want to do is get the die cleaned up. So, and then you want to be careful around the array of the die. There's little tiny things you don't want, like your cloth or whatever you're cleaning it with, to get caught on. So you want to be kind of careful. This stuff is like really dried out that they have on here. So like I was saying before, even if you're not going to be water cooling your card, it may be worthwhile to go ahead and repaste it. This stuff is just all dried out. That's in there. And that's what it should look like when you're done cleaning. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is get this unboxed. I actually waited a while to get one of these. They originally said they were going to be ready like July 15th, and then they just kept pushing the date. So I ended up going with the silver finish. They also have a black finish. But let's see here. So what you have here is your silver card, silver block, and it has the silver one comes with the black back plate, and then the black one comes with a silver back plate. But looks nice, nice finish and everything. And then the orientation for the for your water connections. Right now it comes with them coming out the back like this, and then they also give you another option to where you can go straight out of the card, which is what I normally do for these style blocks. Comes with all your pads. And they're labeled sizes and everything. And it also comes with thermal paste, EKs, and not sure whose they're using, but I always opt to use probably not Thermal Grizzly. This is extreme. It only comes in these little tubs. It doesn't come in a smaller applicator, no syringe applicator or anything, which I wish they did. Then you wouldn't have to buy so much. Be nice to just come in a tube, but this is what it comes with, and it comes with a little applicator. So that's what I'll be using on the card, and I'll be using on the processor when I get started on putting all that together. Comes with a tool, and as far as instructions, with EK's products, they have a QR code that you have to scan, and it has detailed instructions there. You'll just scan this code on the box and be good to go. So let's get started on that. So I'm going to try and keep the plastic on the majority of this, at least on the front, to avoid any scratches. So what we can do is just like that, and we can start disassembling the card, because it comes pretty much put together, and then you have to just do your own thing with it here. So, and then don't confuse your any of your hardware with the original block hardware. So we're going to put all this in this tray here. And with these blocks, the EK, the screws are very important to pay attention to where they go, because if you don't have the right screw in the right place, you might not get good contact with the die or with your memory, and you'll have thermal throttling, and you'll be wondering what's going on, and it's just because you didn't have the right screw in the right place. So it's not getting tight enough or too tight. So the back plate has 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips, and then the I/O has 3 Phillips. Hopefully with these cards too, they said that the PCB with the 3090 Ti is going to be similar to what they've shown so far on the 4000 series, so maybe these blocks will eventually work for the 4000 series as well. We'd only be so lucky. These take Allens on the end here. Actually, so with these, the one complaint I see a lot with these, in particular, these EK blocks, is the tarnishing people get inside the water block. So I'll show you in a second where I'm talking about. But I found that applying acrylic, like a ceramic coating, the same type is used in like the automotive industry, if you apply that to that, it reduces the staining and wear a lot. So then you're not seeing like this like brass finish once all the nickel plating wears off. So here are these. That area I was talking about is in here. People have reported over months of use, depending on what type of coolant they're using, they will be tarnished. So what I do is I'll take it apart and I apply the ceramic coating inside there on the nickel finish, and it actually really helps prolong the life of the finish. So it's something keep in mind when you're doing it, but you can use any kind of ceramic coating. The higher the hardness, the better. So, all right, so I'm going to get the, I'm going to go ahead and download the QR instructions from EK, and so we know all the placement on these pads. Alright, so now that we got all the thermal pads on, should be looking like this. And then on the back side here, we're going to go ahead and get the thermal paste applied. In the instructions it shows to put an X, but I just put a thin layer over top of the die, and that seems to have worked out well for me. You just want to make sure this thing is evenly applied so you have good transfer. And then just get any excess you may have gotten on off. So here we go. Now again, it's not perfect, but this will work. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and get the new water block. Set this here like so. And we are going to flip the PCB and lay it down on the block. Just try to align your holes up. And then just feel around. Make sure you have good contact. There's no flex in it. All looks great. Now we are going to put our washers. So it comes with little plastic washers. We're going to put those on our screws. And this is what's going to secure the 4 points at the die. And these are Phillips head. And these are the silver screws, or nickel screws that it comes with. I'm just going to get this one started. And make sure you do use these plastic washers though. I went ahead and put the stock cooler back together and just put all the screws in the locations they go in. That way nothing gets lost. I can just store it right in the box. If I ever decide to go back, put it back to the stock cooler, it'll be easy to, if you want to resell your card later on. A lot of people would rather have a GPU with the stock cooler versus one that's water cooled. Not everybody has a loop to put it in. So these screws you want to tighten evenly. Just kind of do a crisscross pattern until you know they're snug. And a piece of plastic from the thermal pads. Just keep an eye out for these. They like to stagger along. Alright. Then I'm just going to check the QR instructions on EK's website. Make sure there's nothing I missed as far as mounting the PCB to the block. And it helps with the screw sizes because you have to always just reference back to them. It gives you a parts list. If you don't measure the screws out, because they give you the measurements and what sizes they are, just go by the quantities and it'll help you figure out which screw goes where. But that's very important when installing these. So the next step, it says to install the I/O bracket. This we removed in the beginning of the video to disassemble it so we could do all of this work. So we are going to set this guy up. see, we're at here. So it goes on like such. And that gets M3 times 5 screws, so be the screws we had removed originally. Just want to get all of them in there, get everything started, then make sure everything is aligned properly. You may have to pinch between the block and the I/O bracket just to make sure the screws go in good and smoothly. So we're going to be installing the back plate next. I'm just double checking screw sizes. Make sure we get everything where it needs to go. So that's all we had to do for the I/O bracket. Now it's time for the back plate. So these are the parts that we had took off earlier. So just check everything, make sure everything looks like it's going to go good. So this has two like little points at the top of the back plate that they fit into the two notches at the top. Try to line those up and then check your gaps and everything. Make sure everything looks like it's going to go good. Don't force anything because you don't want to break any of the components. So these we will be reinstalling the screws we had removed in the beginning. So we have 4 of these types that go in the back. And then this also kind of just tighten it evenly. And then just this corner is not, giving me a little bit of difficulty getting the screw in. So see what we can do about that. There we go. Just takes a little bit of finessing to get it going. And then just make sure all these are tightened up evenly here. And then I have one more plate to go on, which is this guy here. The finishing touch. Just takes these 3 silver screws we had taken off to begin with. And those are going to be done with the Allen. And then just tighten these all evenly as well. So here we go. That is all set. Everything looks good. No stress on it. But that's what we have. So this is 3090 Ti on the water block, and like a size comparison. So we went from this here to this. It's a big difference. It's a nice, I like the silver. I went with the black the last time with the 3090, but silver's a nice touch. I think it's going to look good in my new build. I'm actually going to be doing a build log. On this build, I'm going to be building in the Spectre 3.0, the Integra, and still waiting for all the parts for that. And I'm going to just be doing a log as I go with that build. So please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or anything, please let me know. Have a